segment your list. Not everybody needs every email, and some people can't possibly read every single email from every single brand. So at some point, you have to let certain people go, and certain people just have to get a lot less emails.
Thanks for tuning in to the Email Marketing Podcast mini-series, delivering impactful insights in just 10 minutes. I'm very excited today to be joined by Yanna-Torry Aspraki, Deliverability Specialist and CRO. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. So now, where are you hailing from today?
I am currently in Manchester in the UK.
Wow, but I do need to point out that I think we might both be Canadian. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. I'm from Montreal originally.
Amazing. So fellow Canucks, talking about email marketing today.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so I'm going to dive right in because you are an email marketing specialist. I want to get all of the insights from you today. So one of the things that you talk about specifically is deliverability management strategy. Can you explain a little bit what that is and maybe provide an example or two?
Yeah, definitely. So deliverability is the art of not technically sending the email, but making sure that after it's sent, it's actually accepted by the inboxes. Senders believe that if, they're paying a tool like MailChimp and HubSpot, that's their job. And that's definitely not the case. The job of these companies is to send the emails. Whether it lands in the inbox or not, it is not really up to them. So they can, of course, advise and give a lot of information regarding this. So they can, of course, help out. But at the end of the day, the main part is that the sender reputation is on the person who's sending out the emails. It's the same thing in the banking world. The bank might give you a credit card and they'll tell you how, to maintain your credit. You have to pay your bills on time and you get credit limits based on how much money you make and how you pay your bills. But if you don't pay or you don't do the things you're supposed to do, you can't go back to the bank and get angry at them for providing a credit card that you didn't pay on time. And the sender reputation works the same. It's all about what you're doing. So now with all the Google and Yahoo changes, a lot of people are panicking. They're scared that, their emails may not land in the inbox anymore. And nothing really has changed. It's just more of an announcement. Like everybody, we're now announcing to the world, you need to be a good sender. And that's it. But it is quite a moment of panic right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things you talk about besides making sure that your email actually arrives in the inbox is list validation. Can you explain that in a little more detail?
Yeah.
And how would somebody go about that process?
Oh, definitely. This is very simple, and it is 99.9% of all the problems I deal with. It always comes from the list. There's two types of list cleaning. The one most people know about is the list validation tools, tools like Bouncer. What they do is that they test on a technical level if the emails have an inbox, yes or no, or if, for example, they're disposable. So these inboxes are not associated to a person. It's like a disposable one. So it's an email you create, and after 15 minutes or 24 hours, the person doesn't have access to that inbox anymore. So if they're on your list, there's just no value to them. So it gives you a lot of information based on the list. There's spam traps and so on. The other kind of list cleaning is based on engagement. This is like an extreme example, but just to prove a point, if you sell mattresses and someone's bought a mattress, if you send them a promotion about mattresses tomorrow, the likelihood of making money on that person is very low. So segment your list. Not everybody needs every email, and some people at some point can possibly read every single email from every single brand. So at some point, you have to let certain people go, and certain people just have to get a lot less emails. People forget to put a goal for the emails. If you ask them, how can you prove this email worked? Yes or no? They don't know. Did it bring money? They don't know. The opens doesn't mean that it was a good campaign. They might have opened it because the subject line was good. But if it doesn't drive conversions, then what's the point? If you can't measure the goal of an email, then that's the first thing that needs to get fixed. And that helps the process of cleaning your list, because then you're like, oh yeah, if somebody bought something 10 years ago and I'm selling mattresses, they might be the person to email. If they bought one yesterday, probably not. The inboxes are looking to reduce the amount of emails they're allowing in. And the best way is to reduce the emails that are being unengaged with. And of course, if you have high spam rates, then that's not good. So that's nothing to explain there. So make sure you're engaged. Subscribers are getting the most emails, and you're going to see a lot of money coming from your list. And you won't have to worry about deliverability because 99% is a list. But just the validation is not enough, because that's just technically the email exists. Like 1234@gmail.com. It's an inbox, it exists, but it's not a real person. So if you ever sent to that email, you're giving a lot of indicators to Google that you're sending to people you don't know. So You have to look at all the data that you get.
I love that insight, like making sure you have a goal for email. I feel like a lot of people think, well, we have a list, we just need to send emails. But no, like you definitely want to think through what that ultimate goal
Yeah,
is.
and you don't do that with social media, right? So like you don't just post a picture because there's so much thought that goes into it. Why not with email? It's so personal, it's in people's inboxes, you know? Why is there not more thought put into it? There should be quite a lot.
Absolutely right. That strategy, that's important. So one of the things, and I'm going to read for a second because we kind of corresponded a little bit, and you wrote something down that I thought was just absolutely brilliant. That we as marketers need to manage each email list and the expectation of those subscribers. Can you explain that a little bit more?
When we're marketers or, we own a business and we're sending out emails to our customers, we're very excited about our business. There's something we want to share, which is great. But that doesn't mean it's valuable to the person receiving it. It doesn't mean that it's going to lead to conversions, which is the whole point of communicating with them. It's either engagement or purchases or webinar attendees. You want something from them. That's the whole point. The people know it. So send them that information. And sometimes that excitement we have for a brand is just maybe misplaced, or we all wake up very annoyed that we have like hundreds of emails in all of our inboxes and we all know we got more than one. And then we go to work and we're like, how are we going to make money today? And we're like, let's just send out an email. But but why? So yeah, it's just put yourself in the shoes of the subscriber and like, is this email really valuable? Do we need to send 15 Black Friday emails? Not all industries, if you're a lawyer, like, why are you? It just doesn't make sense. Just a little bit of critical thinking, and it's going to fix all the problems because people are going to be happy, they're going to be engaging, you're going to remove the people who aren't, and that's what the spam filters are going to see, and that's what's going to make the emails go into the inbox. That's it. Same thing with social media. Best content, you want comments, engagement, shares, you want that. You want the same thing from email, and it's going to bring you so much money, and you'll learn so much as well from your customers, which forms are working better, which sources. When you're cleaning your list, you might realize that a portion of your list that came from, I don't know, a contest form isn't as good long term than the list that came from a downloaded PDF and learn more about a business. So then you realize, okay, certain lists, we might clean them more often or remove bigger portions because they're not good long term. And we'll try to get them in the 3 months we get to communicate with them. So deliverability can disappear and people don't have to think about it if they're thinking about the right things. So they're thinking about the marketing, they're being honest with themselves about what people want to receive, and then the deliverability problem disappears. You're not going to have a problem with spam filters.
Awesome, great insights. I'm actually going to revisit the first question. So, as a deliverability specialist, you talk a little bit about deliverability management strategy. Can you explain what that is and why it matters?
So when it comes to deliverability, the best type is monitoring. You want somebody to be making sure that everything is constantly okay and that you don't wake up one day where the money is getting impacted, which means that you've had a deliverability problem for quite some time to the point where so many people are not getting emails that it's impacting whatever goal you have in mind when it comes to emails. When you're monitoring your deliverability constantly, it's like with the bank. You can go to the bank and ask for a loan for a house, and then they'll check your credit score, and then you might learn that it's okay or not okay. Or you can just pay $10 a month and have the information from Equifax and you can know. So you don't go to the bank to ask for a loan if the credit score is not good. So you can fix the things you need to fix. Monitoring deliverability means checking your information directly from Google. Google will tell you your reputation. If you're sending more than 5,000 emails, even if it's once a month or one time, they'll tell you that credit score you get. So that gives you a good idea of how good your list is, how good your engagement is. To do inbox placement tests constantly, once a week, once a month, based on how many times you're sending emails and how much. That will let you know at all times the average amount of emails that are landing in the inbox, the spam folder, or being blocked outright. It will also check and make sure that you're authenticated and all the technical stuff that you have to do just once is done and maintained. Because sometimes, like even I break my own SPF records, I add a new tool, I don't pay attention because I know stuff, and then I make a mistake. I save it and copy paste it correctly, whatever. So it constantly checks, so you're always sure that everything is good. And Google and Yahoo is requiring it now, so make sure it's constantly working. And every so often, remove people who are unengaged and clean your list, especially if you don't email very often. Stay consistent. Spam filters love consistency. If you send an email every time at the same time, the same number of people, the same people, it's really good. Of course, they know that the lists are growing, things like that, but be like really consistent. People will send millions or hundreds of thousands of emails, send consistently, same amount of volume every minute, every hour. Spam filters love consistency because then they have an image, they know what your credit score is, and they don't have to look anymore until you change something and then they start looking again. So deliverability can just be monitored, and that's always better because that means you know everything is okay. And if things are going south, you know immediately instead of waiting for the results that then impacts business.
Wow, that's fantastic insight. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for your time today, Yanna-Torry. I really appreciate it. I'll post links in the show notes for you to connect with her on LinkedIn and check out her website. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for having me.